King Schnozzle of Schnoz. Surely you've heard of the kingdom of Schnoz. It's northeast of Dreamland. It's due south of Oz. Welcome to Schnoz. No running. Please check your noses. Just 8 miles west of Paramus, New Jersey. Picket fence. The peasants were pleasant, the days were all sunny, and fat bumble cows produced sweet milk and honey. Our story begins with King Schnozzle I. He wasn't the best king, he wasn't the worst. He wasn't that smart and he wasn't that strong, but he had a nose that was 12 inches long. The worst king was Sidney, the sweaty and sloppy. That book about Sidney sold only 1 copy. His mother bought it. Some people thought that the king's nose was funny. It just didn't fit on the stamps or the money. And what a disaster when that thing was runny. But he could smell fires before they had started, and he knew who did it when somebody farted. Yes, Schnozzle I really knew how to lead, for a 12-inch nose makes a good ruler indeed. The little king carried his great nose with pride, and one day he married a big-nosed bride. The king and the queen raised a dozen young princes with noses much bigger than blueberry blintzes. The strangest of these was King Schnozzle III. His nose was a perch for a big goofy bird. Wherever he wandered, the king always heard the people around him say, "What an odd bird!" Who do you think they were talking about, King Schnozzle III or the bird on his snout? The bird was a mix of a dove and a stork. Some called it a stove, some called it a dork. King Schnozzle V would save the court's time by sniffing each person accused of a crime. "I feel," said the king, "that my great nose can tell if someone on trial has a criminal smell." And so, for the most part, his nose never failed, though some robbers went free and some grannies were jailed. The nose of King Schnozzle VIII was outrageous. See for yourself, the thing covers 2 pages. 3 pages in the paperback edition. His needed a cart to support the far tip, and a round-the-clock nurse for his postnasal drip. The nurse, named Noreen, was devoted and sweet, and she carried a hanky the size of a sheet. The people of Schnoz held a fair to decide which big-snooted beauty should be this king's bride. And when it was over, the judges all chose a duchess named Rosie, who won by a nose. The duchess was snooty and snotty and nosy, but nobody else had a nose quite like Rosie. When they told the king that they'd found him a wife, King Schnozzle VIII told them, "Not on your life. I think this country has gone rather bonkers, choosing their queens by the size of their hunkers. The choice of a wife is for me to decide. I won't pick a nose, I am picking a bride." The nation of Tuki is equally nuts. They choose their kings by the size of their butts. The king said, "This sniffer has made my life tough. A nose is a nose, but enough is enough. The woman I love is caring and kind. She has a good heart and she has a good mind." King Schnozzle went down on one knee and proposed to his dear nurse Noreen, who was rather small-nosed. While Rosie the Duchess just glowered and cursed. King Schnozzle VIII married Noreen the nurse. "Huzzah!" cried the people. "1,000 huzzahs!" People talked weird in the kingdom of Schnoz. Later that week, Rosie moved to L.A. and married a rich plastic surgeon named Ray. Queen Noreen had a son who had cute little toes, cute little feet, and a cute button nose. But boy, did he have big ears. The end.